Hello everybody, this is Oak Tree Tarot Reader here and welcome to my pick a card video. So today's question is, what is my next step? So it doesn't matter what the origins of your question is, whether you are in a particular situation or particular feelings and you're thinking, well, what do I do now? Or whether it's more generally in your life where you're sort of a bit bored, maybe a bit stagnant, and you're thinking, well, what can I do next? What shall I do? Whatever the origins of your questions are, it doesn't matter. Just listen to the advice and adapt it to your particular situation. And remember that this is a general reading aimed at a lot of people, so not everything in the reading will resonate with you completely. You really do have to just take what makes sense to you and leave the rest aside. It could be someone else that needs to hear that part of the message. So we have option 1, 2 and 3. I'm going to put the timestamps in the comment section and in the description box. Before you go ahead and click there, if you want to know what the decks are that I'm using, where my Instagram link and all the information you need on purchasing a private reading from me, all of that will also be in the description box. Now, I want you to close your eyes, take a few deep breaths and relax your mind. I want to let go of all your troubles and cares. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth until you feel completely relaxed. Let all your concerns and preconceived ideas float up through the top of your head and hit the ceiling. You don't need them. And when you feel in a relaxed and calm state, then make your choice. Trust your instincts, don't doubt yourself, don't overthink it. Just make your choice. If you need a little bit more time to do that, then please press pause, because I am now moving on to the readings. Right, those of you that chose option 1, this is your reading. What is your next step? So, to start off with, we have ancestors, remembrance, hex, banishment, magic circle, protection, the chariot, the page of swords, and the queen of cups. Okay, well, this is a clear message to me straight off, a very clear message. Some of you are very much indulging in self-destructive behaviour. This could be mildly self-destructive to extremely self-destructive. And you know what that is that you're doing, whether it's drink, drugs, whether it's eating bad foods, or some of you are in a bad relationship that you know it's no good. And it's time to sort of leave, really. And you know it. You know that there's something going on in your life and it's not good for you. It's negative thought processes, being around the wrong sorts of people that they, they're not necessarily that they're terrible people, but you just all enable each other, that you all sort of feed off each other's negativity, or at least they, without ill will necessarily, they just cause you to do things that are not healthy for you. So you're just doing something self-destructive and you need to banish it out of your life. Hex, banishment. It's got to be, you've got to send it away. You've got to send the person away. You've got to send the situation away. You've got to send the addiction away. Anything, whatever it is that's negative within you. If this is a case of your psychological mindset, that you're starting to get depressive or having negative thought processes, it's the same message. Banish them away. And if you need help to do that, I am so in favour of going to see a therapist, seeing a doctor, seeing someone that can help you through that. You don't have to do it alone. Often that external insight will help you and speed up all sorts of healing processes. So don't be afraid or ashamed of that. For a lot of you, what you need to do is turn to your family. This is the ancestors card, remembrance. It's about the links between the generations that have gone before us and the generations that will follow us. So some of you need to be thinking about your kids, obviously, but I think mainly the message is that there's going to be someone in your family that you can turn to. Have they already gone through the process that you are currently going through? Is this something that they've lived before and they can help you get through this? If that's not the situation, it could quite simply be a case of you need to go and move back in with your mum and dad. And, you know, and that doesn't matter. If you're like 40 years old and you know, I can't be 40 and going back to live with my mum and dad. It doesn't matter. Go back and live with them. Go back and stay with them for a bit. It's probably only going to be a temporary situation. But you need to banish something out of your life or banish yourself away from it. You know, you need to remove yourself from the situation for your own protection. You need now, the next step is to protect yourself. To put yourself in that magical circle where, you know, you're surrounded by salt and the evil spirits can't get through. Not to say that you're haunted by evil spirits, but you understand what I mean is that, you know, if it's protecting yourself. It's protecting yourself so that you are no longer at risk from thinking the bad thoughts, listening to the bad people and all the rest of it. It's, you know, that's a symbol of you protecting yourself. And for a lot of you, that protection is going to come through your family. So even stopping with your brothers or sisters, cousins, people that you trust and love that will look out for you and help you get past whatever issue it is. This is what your next step is. This feels a lot more serious than needing to go on an adventure. You really need to remove yourself from something, banish something that's not helping you in your life. You need to get rid of it and protect yourself. Put yourself in a safe space that you can reject whatever this self-destructive behaviour is, or at least begin the journey to do it. And you need to do it now, because we've got the Chariot. Now is the time to take action. Now is the time to get in that car and drive home, get on that train and get yourself out of wherever you are. If if this is an internal journey that actually you are with your family and supportive and there's nothing wrong with your relationship and this is just an internal situation for you, the message is still the same. You still need to deal with it and start taking action now. You might not physically need to move, but you need to start taking action. Because I think for a lot of you, other people are oblivious to the situation that you're in. Because we've got the Page of Swords. And really what this is telling you is the next step to do is to reveal the secret. You know, for some of you, it's about revealing it to yourself. The Page of Swords has a message to share. Look, he's got his scroll. He's got on his horse, he's got the information, and he's going out to spread the message. And I think that's you. And that you need to talk about it. Even if it's not coming out and actually revealing a big secret, it's starting to open up and talk about it. So if that's to family, that's okay. If some of you feel that's not possible, then to a therapist or a helpline, somewhere where you can talk to people who are in the same situation or are professional and have an interest in helping people who are going through what you are going through. And what's your next step? Start taking care of yourself. This is about self-love, empathy, care, emotional intelligence, being aware that you're going to have an emotional reaction to whatever this self-destructive situation is. Why are you doing this? There's not enough self-love here. There's not enough of people feeling that they're worthy, that they deserve the love. You know, and you do deserve love, and you do deserve care, and you do deserve to live in a happy life of protection. You know, and this protection also is about saying, why am I hanging around with these people when all they do is get me to stay out all night drinking when I really want to focus and do my work and fulfill my dreams? And you start saying, well, I'm just not going to hang around with them. That's you protecting yourself and protecting what you truly value. Because at the moment you're not protecting yourself. You know, the witch in the circle You know, whatever she feels is causing her trouble, she's taken steps to protect herself from it. And that's what you need to do. That's your next step. That's the most important step. Before that, you have to banish it, because there's no point taking it into the circle with you. So you're stuck in the circle with whatever this self-destructive, whatever this thing is that's causing you trouble. There's no point taking it into the protective circle with you and then start putting your guards up, because you're just locking yourself in with it into your fortress. You know, you need it on the outside. So you banish it. You send it away. And by doing that, you're rejecting it. That's what you do. You reject it. Then you put yourself in the place where you say, right, you're not welcome here. You're not coming in with me. And I'm going to take every step I have to make sure you don't get through the barriers. And you can do this, and you will survive and succeed. Yes, it'll be hard work, but the idea is that you have your family around you, all the people that feel like family. But yeah, you need to start opening up and talking to people about this, and start doing it quickly. And that's your next step. It's very simple, very clear, very to the point, very simple. Start loving yourself, taking care of yourself emotionally, listening to your emotions, having sympathy for yourself and empathy for yourself. Open up about it, taking action, connecting to family, or understanding where you have come from that maybe has led to this situation. Banish all that negativity and then start protecting yourself. That's it. Those of you that chose option 1, that's your reading. So please let me know in the comments section if it resonates, if it's helped you in any way. I do love reading everybody's comments. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I'm going to leave you with that, leave you to meditate on what the cards have said. So I wish you all the best of luck for the future. Please take very good care of yourself. This is important. Thank you so much for listening to me, and goodbye. Okay, those of you that chose option 2, this is your reading. What is your next step? Right, we have altar, dedication. We have earth, grounding. We have, scrying mirror, shadow. We have Queen of Swords, the Moon, and the Emperor. Right, that's interesting. Right, so yeah, I can see what they're saying. What they're saying is that a lot of you have been very experimental recently, or just generally in life, that you're the sort that likes to do lots of different things. Like you have lots of different hobbies, or you've had lots of different careers, or you've been really experimental with your, not like your fashion sense, but who you are, your identity. You're experimental. I wouldn't say overly flighty, but yeah, you're definitely somebody that will play around. And what your next step is to dedicate to one of them. There's one of these things that you've been doing generally in your life, or very recently, because maybe you're trying to mix things up, you've been a bit stagnant and you're trying to change your life, and so you've been playing around with lots of different things in whatever area of your life, and now it's saying, but one's better than the other, so now's the time to dedicate to it, and to plant, to invest in it, to ground your energy into whatever this thing is. Like I almost feel like some of you have discovered a new talent, like an undiscovered talent, or something that you never thought about doing, but then all of a sudden, you've been playing around and discovered that you're quite good at it. You might think, oh, this is beginner's luck. You might not take it very seriously, but actually there's something that you've been doing that you've really enjoyed, I suspect, and that you've really got a bit of a spark for, a bit of a flair for. There's a few things that you've been into and you could say, well, actually, maybe I have a bit of a flair for all of them, is that there's something that really is the best option. It's the most compatible with your life, perhaps, or offers you the most opportunities, whatever that is. But I think as you're listening to me talk, you know what that is. And it's time to ground in it. It's time to plant your crop. This is a field that's had it's been sown. The crows are there trying to pick up the seeds, but the crop has been sown. This is time for you to now properly invest. It's time to let go of the other things that you've been playing around with or exploring. You've had your exploration. It doesn't mean that exploration will end. There will be other things for you to discover in your life. But at this moment in time, what you need to do next is dedicate to one of them and focus on it. Really focus on the one thing. Practice it. Become quite skilled, because the scrying mirror is telling you don't have the full information. And that's not to say, there's something being hidden from you, someone's lying or keeping a secret. No, not in the context of what I'm asking. What it's saying to you is you've only got half the story. So what that's telling me is this thing, you're actually really good at it. It's like almost a skill that not many people have. Many have tried, many have failed, but the few get through, and you're one of the few. That you're just really good at it. You'll stand above the crowd. But you can't do that at this moment in time because you are yet to fully dedicate yourself to it. And when you do that, I think things will change for you. You won't be asking, what do I do next? You'll just know. It's like a natural talent almost. But yeah, you're not fully developing it, so you're not really coming into your powers yet with this particular skill. And we've got the Queen of Swords, you need to focus your brain on it. You need to unclutter your brain. The Queen of Swords is a straight shooter. She doesn't use flowery language. She gets straight to the point. She cuts through all the crap. So I think a lot of you are quite easily distracted. You might say, I have a short attention span. But that's fine. You can work within who you are as a person, what your qualities are. You can try and push against that and sort of extend your attention span, of course. But I think a lot of you just need to focus and cut away all the other stuff and be firm with yourself. I mean, the Queen of Swords takes no prisoners. If something she needs to focus on it, she will. And I think that's what a lot of you have. I mean, the Queen of Swords has come right underneath dedication. So you need to focus and dedicate on this one thing, no matter how tempting it is to maybe watch that hit TV program and binge watch it for a day, like sit there for 8 hours watching something on Netflix. It's wonderful. I love doing that. But it's almost as if pace yourself. Come on, you need to dedicate to this one thing. Don't allow yourself to get distracted. And I think it's really involving your imagination, because we've got the moon next. We've got the moon. And that always speaks to me of our subconscious, our dream world, the part of ourselves that we're not even fully aware of, that's just simmering under the surface. And that on occasion, this secret part of ourselves that's quite well hidden comes to the front, comes to the top of our heads. And so I'm thinking that some of you are even dreaming about this thing, that it's influencing your dreams. And I think what you need to do is listen to them. Whether it's actually your actual sleepy time dreams, or whether it's your, sort of symbol, like, this is my dream, I've always wanted it, this is my dream. But you're meant to tap into that. It's almost doing things from your instincts rather than overthinking it. I always say, don't overthink it. Don't clutter your brain. You've got to unclutter your brain. Some of you are overthinking this. This is why you're scattering your energies a lot, because you're trying to find the thing that will hit. But what it's telling you is you've had a hit and you're not paying attention to it. So now dedicate yourself to it and you will find your true talent at it. We've got hints of it, but you are yet to ground that energy into fully making it something of your life. So that's where the Emperor comes in. The Emperor. It's saying you can be an authority at it. You need to be an authority in your own life as well. So if you have lots of obligations, lots of people dragging on your energy, dragging on your time and attention, you have to be firm and say, no, actually, I'm in charge of my own life. I need to have this. I need to have this self-care. I need to have this time to create or explore something. You know, instead of exploring lots of little things at a shallow level, now's the time for you to choose one thing and explore it to great depth. And you need to do that by coming into your own power, your own authority, to accept that you are in charge of your own life. Yes, you can compromise on things. You can adapt taking this thing on and adapt it into your own life so you're not overworked or overstretched. But on some level, there's something where you need to say, okay, this is about me and this is my me time and I'm going to do it, so you sort yourself out. It really, really is. You know, someone comes along and says, can you help me with? You go, no, I'm sorry, I can't. I've got to focus. I've got to get this done. Got to do this. It's my practice time. I'm practicing my instrument. Can't you hear me? I'm practicing my instrument. Can you stop? It sounds awful. No, I can't stop, because if I keep stopping, it will always sound awful and it will never ever sound good. It's not going to sound good on your first 3 hours of lessons. It's going to start sounding good after 300 hours of lessons. So yeah, this is what your next step is, to take something in your life that you have a talent at it. That really comes out at me. There's something that you're good at, and it doesn't need to be on a global scale good. It's just that it brings you really a lot of satisfaction because you sense you're good at it, and that it could be something that not necessarily that you're good at, but just something above all the others that will really bring you a lot of happiness, and that's worth it. But yeah, some of you are just not accepting, you're not allowing it to come to the forefront. You've sort of written it off already, but you shouldn't. The moon's saying let it come to the surface. Let it come to the surface. So those of you that chose option 2, that's your reading. I hope you enjoyed it. Follow your dreams, follow your happiness, whatever that is, wherever that is in the world. Let me know in the comments section if this has helped you, if it's resonated. Otherwise, please take very good care of yourself. I wish you all the best of luck in the world with this. Thank you very much for listening to me, and goodbye. Okay, those of you that chose option 3, this is your reading. What is your next step? So we have fire, passion, Wiccan reed, ethos, red, Wiccan red. I would pronounce that as Sylvain, but Samhain I suppose it would also work. Death. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, so it doesn't really matter, you know what I mean. Oh, the Ace of Wands, 3 of Cups, 5 of Wands. Oh, right, so yeah, I can see this is I've had 3 really nice clear messages today. What's your next step? I think that you've got yourself in a bit of a stagnant situation, a bit of a boring situation. I suspect that you probably somehow got yourself restricted in some way, that you're not, you know, you're not doing anything exciting, or you're not, you know, it's just work, home, 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, do the same thing every weekend. It's just repetitive. There's just a sense boredom, that you're bored and you're thinking, well, what's my next step? I'm bored. So whether it's a particular situation or just generally in life, you're a bit fed up and bored. So what's your next step? What you need to do? Get some passion in your life for something, anything. This can be trying to renew your passion for something that has now become a bit boring and stagnant. Try and light the fires again. Or finding something that you're passionate about. Some of you are thinking, well, how do I do that? Well, you just got to be a bit experimental. You got to try things that sound as though they might be interesting and try them. If they're not as interesting as you thought, or they don't match you as well as you thought they might, that's fine. Let it go. Move on to the next thing. You know, you sort of have to do the opposite of what you have been doing, which is you need to start getting out. And you need to have something that you believe in. This is the ethos. When you have an ethos, it's something that's important to you. It's like a code. it's your ethos, it's your belief system, and you really, really believe in it, whatever it is. So you need to have something that you're, in a sense, dedicated to, that you're passionate about, that's really important to you. You've got to have a cause or a purpose, having some sort of meaning in your life. So you need to move towards something that you have meaning for. You might already have a bit of a passion for something and have something that's really important to you. And it's saying your next step is to do that, to deepen it, actually start acting on it, in a much greater way than you already have been. And if you haven't got anything that you're passionate about, you need to find it and then commit yourself to it. Have it as your thing. Yeah. You just need to absolutely say, this is what I stand for. And death. You need to let something go out of your life. That it's renewal. It's letting go of the old, the stagnant, the things that have died off in your life that don't serve you anymore. You've sort of exhausted it, you've outgrown it. It's time to move on and let it go and move towards something that does make you feel alive and passionate. Yeah, there's just something going on in your life that's really not lighting your fire, and you need to find something that does. And the way you're going to find that is by getting out and doing stuff. It's changing the way you've been thinking. Some of you are thinking, well, no, I like my life the way it is. No, you don't. You're looking for what's the next step. So you want to move away from it. Taking a step is moving away from where you were. Step forward, moving away. And it's letting go of old, outmoded, useless attitudes, mental situations. There's something you've outgrown and you've got to move on from it. Ending the cycle. That's your next step. And you've got to, in a sense, do it quickly, but also just get moving to do it. We've got the 8 of Wands. It's about doing something exciting, passionate. It could be falling in love. It could be going on an adventure. It could be starting to go traveling. Whatever's within your, financial, geographical limits. But even if it's just beginning to plan for it, if you think, actually, I've always wanted to travel, so I can't afford it this year, but I'm going to save and do it next year. It doesn't matter, you're aiming towards something, and that's the important bit. And I think what you need to do, what your next step is, something to do with your friends. Either if you've not been communicating with your friends very much, you need to start traveling, making that connection, making the effort to move towards them. If it's a case of finding friends, doing things and getting yourself out to places where you can meet people that have the same interests as you, that also want to meet friends. And maybe you've got a hobby and then it has meetups for it. I'm just thinking how many people are doing Dungeons and Dragons nowadays, and there's like Comic-Con and all this kind of stuff. Whatever your thing is, there will be somebody that's interested in it as well, where you can make friends. Getting out with your friends, socialising, doing things that you find are fun, collaborating with people for the aim is joy. And you need to start doing, this is your next step. Getting out and being with people. And not being afraid of the competition. You need to put yourself into some sort of competitive sphere. So in one breath, when I said like with falling in love, the other implication is put yourself out there in the dating scene. If you're like, what's my next step? Finding love. You've got to aim to find passion, but a relationship that stands with your own morals. It's no good finding somebody and they have a completely different set of ethics and like they're in a completely different religion and it's completely incompatible with your faith, or they have completely different attitudes towards, I don't know, animal welfare or something, anything. It's got to be somebody that stands with you, and you've got to let go of being single, of being solitary, of always having it your own way. You've got to adapt to living with someone and working with someone. It's important to have self-love and self-care, but you also have to consider the other person and the fact that they need to love themselves and care for themselves. And that's where, you know, the compromise comes in, where you don't completely give in to what their needs are, but they don't give in to what your needs are. This is important. This is where a relationship comes in, where you support each other in your own needs, where you discuss the issues that are going wrong in your relationship and then you work through them. This is the kind of thing that you need. So it's sort of letting go of being single and moving towards having fun with people and entering the fray of the dating scene. This is nothing to do about love, that's fine. Whatever it is, you need to get yourself out there and not be afraid of the competition, not being afraid of, you know, like almost guessing the attention for something that you're good at, you know, like Dungeons and Dragons, you know, you're going along, you're playing the game, you're all in a sort of working together, but also a bit competitive. Not being afraid of the challenge. Because I just feel there's a lot of people here that are shielding themselves from the challenge, and the next step is to actually engage in it. Is to engage in it and do it. And that's your next step. I just really feel that you're looking for something new in your life, but you almost like, but I don't want to take any risks or do anything that will draw attention to myself. And the next step is that you have to take a risk and draw attention to yourself. Of course, if you're not afraid to draw attention to yourself, it's absolutely time to do something different that you haven't considered before. But yeah, you need to get out and be a bit more adventurous. That's your next step. And if it's a baby step, that's fine. It all adds up. But you've got to commit to whatever your next step is. You've got to commit to whatever your path is. Because in a way, this is what's preventing the passion coming through. Because you're shying away from it. It's like knowing that there's a fire there, knowing the candle's lit, but not putting your hand anywhere near it to feel the warmth. So you're cold, but you won't come close to the fire because of the risk, and therefore you're not getting any of the warmth. And so you need to get closer to it. So those of you that chose option 3, that's your reading. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave me some comments. Let me know if it resonated with you, if it's helped you in any way. I really do love reading everybody's comments. Anyway, I shall leave you with that. Please take very good care of yourself. I wish you all the best of luck for the future. Thank you very much for listening to me, and goodbye.